All right, finally working on the deck stairs here, about 2/3 of the way up. Want to give you a quick overview how I'm laying out the stairs. Now this is Timbertech Composite, and I'll show you everything we're using here to make this happen. Zoom out a little bit so it'll be a bit distorted. First of all, I'm using a riser. These are made by Timbertech, so that's 7 1/8 inch wide, or maybe 7 1/4 inch wide riser. It leaves a little gap on the bottom, and so what I do is just take a scrap piece of the riser. Try to keep this from being too shaky. All right, so take a scrap piece, set our scrap piece there. That'll leave our gap on the bottom. All right, so take the piece that we've cut. I'm gonna set that up there and line it up just like that. And then what you have to do is you take this special drill bit. This is the fascia drill bit that Timbertech makes, and I'll do 2 holes on each stringer, and it makes a little countersink. You can kind of see here, it countersinks that screw, and then you use a fascia hanger. It's called a Top Lock by Timbertech. Looks like this, and you don't actually drive it down. It's not pressed super tight. You can see here, it actually hangs on that. So it's supposed to hang. This stuff will expand and contract, so you got to leave your gaps. Okay, so that's how I do the riser. Get this out of the way, and then I'll show you the other 2 pieces. Okay, so once I get that on like that, go ahead and take my next piece. This is fun to do with one hand while standing 8 feet up in the air. Okay, so we're gonna set our next one up there like that. And then I'm just using little plastic spacers. Put a plastic spacer here on each side. All right, so we got a gap. We'll get it lined up. And then we'll put our next piece here. All right, so we get our next piece on there. To do the Timbertech decking, I'm also using their Top Lock deck screws. They look like this. You do have to drill 5/32. So you got to drill first, and then you can use your driver to drive these down, and they will sink pretty tight. You can see there. Okay, so we're going to put a gap right here. I want a gap in the back. Now, the funny thing about these risers is they're not really flat. I don't know if you can see the bow in that thing. So it doesn't look like there's as much gap up here as there is on the ends, but that doesn't really matter. This is flexible. And then I'm using my deck spacer here. My spacer tool gives me a 1/8 inch gap, and I'll stick that here in the middle, line up either side. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you do get a little bit of overhang here. So that's maybe, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, okay? So don't freak out by that. I did look that up. It seemed like a lot to me. I went ahead and looked up a whole bunch of information to make sure, hey, can that stick out there that far? But I guess it's fine. And with 2 of these boards down, I got a size 10 shoe. Can almost get my whole foot on there. So it's a nice wide flat step. Worked out pretty well. Now our stringers here are 11 inches apart. This is kind of a narrow staircase, but we went with 4 stringers. Timbertech says you can go 16 inch on your stringers if you use 2x6 blocking. So if you're gonna go 16 inches, which would be about here or so, so I guess I could have got away with just 3 stringers, but then I would have had to do 2x6 blocking. We opted to go ahead and do 4 stringers, and then I'm not doing any blocking. And then the other thing that I would recommend is do the joist tape. So $80 worth of joist tape is really going to go a long way. I got a big fat thing of joist tape to do the sides. Stick over here, take a look at that. So I've taped the whole side because I'm going to put the fascia. You can see the fascia up there on my deck. That's Timbertech fascia. Fascia, I don't know. And then that's going to come down here on this side. So I tape the underside, so if water gets under there, it will prevent some rot. So I think $80 worth of tape will go a long way. Tape all your flat parts. I got this stuff on Amazon. It wasn't that expensive. It came in a 4-pack. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen. I don't remember what I paid, but it wasn't too bad. It was cheaper than the stuff I saw at Lowe's or Home Depot. So go ahead and tape all of your seams, and I'm gonna work my way up. And then for the railing, I'm gonna continue this same rail system here. And the railing for my stairs is an exterior mount. So you can kind of see how that one Kind of come up here a little bit. You can see how this walkway was made. The railing for the walkway is an exterior mount for my posts, and I'm going to continue that down, and so it'll be mounted on the exterior. So I had to do some blocking for that. So I had to mark where my posts are going to be and do some blocking. That is a Fortress rail system. I'll put a link in the description. I did a full video on this deck, and I'm using the same product as I continue the stairs down. And then the rail system, there's a 6-foot rail, so it'll be every 6 feet I'll have to do a post. On this side, I can connect my rail directly to the brick wall, or the other option would be to just simply put a post right there, but my gutter's kind of in the way. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is just attaching it directly to the brick and then running it down.